Welcome to Lesson 3 of the Encore music notation software tutorial. In this lesson, I'm going to show you how to use the palettes that are available in Encore. Back in Lesson 1, I explained the palette called the Notes palette, and there are quite a few more, so I'm going to show you them as we go. So the way to get to the palettes is to go to the Windows menu, and the palette option is number 1. And so over here it can show you all the ones that are available. So we have the Notes palette, the Clefs palette, graphics, etc., etc. So I'm going to pick Notes just to do that. And you notice that there is a shortcut for that, a keyboard shortcut. But we'll pick Notes, and then the palette shows up like that, and it appears on top of the score. But you can move it around. You just grab it and move it around anywhere you want to. So it's probably a good idea to keep it off of the score, so you'll be able to put notes on there and see the notes. So that's one way to do it. I'm just going to move it back over here where it was. The other palettes that are available, you can just select them from here, and it shows you the little check mark to see which ones have been selected. I'm going to open all of them. There's an Open All Palettes option. It's Alt-O is the shortcut, and Alt-P is the one that closes all the palettes. So we'll just open all of them. And there they are. You can see all the ones that are available. So I'm just going to show you a few things about each one. The Clefs palette changes clef, and you have all the options that are here. You've got treble and bass, alto, tenor, and the other ones that are percussion clef. So if I want to make, on this score, I want to make the top part bass clef, I just pick the bass clef option, bring it over here to the beginning of the line, and change it. And so that changes the clef for the entire score to bass clef. It's also possible to change the clef in the middle of the score. So if I wanted to switch to, let's say, treble clef halfway through, then I could put that there, and then everything that follows that would be in treble clef. So that's how that works. So clefs are real simple to use. The next one is the dynamics, and Encore plays the dynamics, so depending on what one you choose, it's going to have a different volume level when it plays the piece back for you. So you just select one of them, and then the crosshair tells you where it's going to be, and you just position it and put it on the score. You can pick anything else you want to and position it anywhere else on the score. If you want to move these things around, they're simple. You just go to the arrow tool and select the item and then just move it around, so you can reposition these things very easily. The expressions are very nice because they allow you to put different kinds of text anywhere on the score. So if you want to, for example, put legato, you just pick legato from here. And again, the crosshairs let you position that where you want to. If you need to move it, you can go to the arrow and pick it up and move it around. You can change any of these items that are here, and in fact, you can add new ones even. If I wanted to change that, I just need to double click on it. And so it brings up a window and it shows you the text that's there. It also would show you the font that it's using, so you can get the font and change whatever you would need to do. Change the font, the size, make it bold, or put effects on it, underline it, do whatever you'd want to do. And so I could change that if I needed to, and then it would change it inside of the selection, the palette. It would change it in the palette. I'm not going to do that here. But for example, if you wanted to add something new, there are a number of open spaces down here at the bottom of the palette, and the way to do that is you just double click and put in something. So I'm going to type softly, and that's going to be my palette option. And so I now have that on the palette. All I need to do is select it and then position with the crosshairs, and there we go. And so we now have that on the score. If I want to get rid of that, I just need to double click it again and delete it. I just hit the backspace key and then say OK, and now it's gone. So it's a very useful tool, the expressions. Then we have the symbols, and you can see the fermata symbols and then a lot of other ones that are there. And it's the same type of thing. You just select the one you want to use. So I select the fermata, and then the crosshairs position it, and that could be on top of a note or top of a blank space, wherever you need to have that. and you have the same capability of just grabbing it and moving it around this way. So we have marks, and those are available here. So Marks 1 has a lot of different options. Marks 2 has another one. You can see there's an accent mark and marcato marks, etc., etc. There are some other tools that allow you to do slurs and dynamics and crescendos and setting the tempo marking. The crescendo, for example, is here, and you can just position it on the score and drag it into position, and it gives you a crescendo. If you need to move that around, you just grab it and move it around. So a lot of flexibility here. There's a whole section called guitar in the palette, the guitar palette. I'll get into that later on because there's a lot of good stuff in there. Same thing with color. You can change the color of certain things on your score, which can be very useful if you're trying to teach somebody something, and you can change the color and show somebody that, say, here's the red option, here's the blue option, whatever you would need to do. And then the last one is the graphics palette, and I'll get into this later. I'll do another lesson on graphics, but it allows you to have lyrics, text, chords, and then some graphics elements like boxes and that type of thing. So you can add all those things to the score using the graphics option. But like I said, it's pretty extensive, so I'll just do this in a following lesson. And if you need to, then just come back up here and you can close all the palettes, or you can use Alt-P to close them, and then they go away. Probably the one you want to have on the screen somewhere is the notes palette, and that makes the most sense because you'll probably be using some of the things on here more often than anything else. So that's what palettes look like. And that's it for this lesson. If you want to see any more of my lessons, they're listed on my website, which is here. And if you want to know more about Encore, you can go to the Passport Music Software site, which is also listed here. I'll see you in the next lesson.